happy Saturday, everybody. So, on just a little bit later, because I had to run a few errands this morning, because one of my cousins, her first birthday is today. So, baby Reagan, will has turned one, and so a party is going to be going on a little bit later today. So that's why I'm all dressed up. I'm all ready for her birthday party. So I had to go get some like birthday stuff all taken care of. Had to go down to the post office and mail something off for my dude for his work. And then I decided just like, hey, go check my mailbox because I have a little P.O. box there, and there was a key in my mailbox, and I was like, because I'm not familiar with that. And it was like, take the key and go to the locker. And I was like, ooh, is this like a an adventure? But no, it was just because the package was too large to fit in like my little mailbox. So I had to go over to the locker. Loki! What? That's Loki, by the way. Miss Rain is here. Hey, oh, and thank you very much. So yeah, and well, in other news, we got Loki. So remember, this was like a few months ago. We had like this random black cat come and say hello to my boyfriend at like 11 o'clock at night. He had his back turned. He was like doing stuff in the garage, like for his job. He was cutting some film for the next day's job, and this cat came and rubbed up against him, but because he had his back turned and he saw just like giant blackness, he thought that there was a skunk rubbing up on him. He was like, holy shit, you know. And turns out it was a really friendly cat, and he was like, hello, and the cat was like, hello, and like wanted to come in the house, and he was like, whose cat are you? So he had me come out, and the cat ran right over to me and was like rubbing on me and meowing and showing his tummy. And I was like, well, this is a really sweet cat. It's like really late at night. I don't want him to get eaten by coyotes because there's coyotes in the area. So I was like, let's just put him up in one of our rooms for the night, and then I'll take him to the shelter in the morning and like see if he has a chip and all of that. And so you know, because we have a cat, so so we had to lock this one in a room, and we had an extra litter box, and we put fresh litter in it and food and water, and you know, so he'd be comfortable, put a blanket out for him and everything. And then I had New Age Zona take his hair. Thank you. Yes, rocking the makeup. um and so we had taken him to the shelter. Turns out he did have a chip. They found his owners, but when they had his owners on the phone, they had to describe the cat to them because they didn't remember what their cat looked like, and they hadn't noticed that he was missing or anything. So they eventually like came down and picked him up. I am his hair. What's up? And so I left my name and number because I was like, he was really sweet. And I was like, well, if they don't want him, you know, here's my name and number in case they, you know, change their mind, you know. And then I think like another month and a half had passed. And I was like, well, you know, maybe he's not coming back because he really shouldn't be outside. With like the wildlife that's in our area, it's just not safe. And people, like even people with small dogs, like they bring them in at night. You know, it's not safe to keep them in the backyard. So a month and a half later, like my boyfriend's doing something in the garage, but this time it's during the middle of the day, and he hears a clunking underneath my truck. Iami said, it's so upsetting when people can't identify their own animals. I know, I was like, who are these people? Shitty owners, that's what they are. Dead Cheeky, hello from work. Can't stay. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you as well. We got Loki. so yeah, so my boyfriend was like, oh, hello, you know, because Loki came running up to him, and he started petting him. Then he hears this girl running up the street going, Loki, get back here. And he's like, so my boyfriend pretends like he's never seen this cat before in his life. He's like, oh, wow, you're a really friendly cat. Like, and so he got to talking to the owner a little bit, and she was like, yeah, you know, he's a rescue, and we have like 3 other cats, and but this one, he's a troublemaker. My boyfriend's like, really, this cat? And he like picked him up, and she's like, you know how to pick him up? And he says, well, yeah, he's really nice. And she's all, oh, he didn't let me pick him up. And she was like, well, anyway, I got to take him back in the house. And he was like, oh, okay. So then my boyfriend tells me all of this, and he says, well, you know that when people get rescues, they have to sign a paper saying they're not going to put them outside because they're a rescue. Like they're not supposed to be outside, like no matter what neighborhood you're in. Like if you get a rescue, that's like what you have to sign. Amy said, so glad you have him now. He deserves a good home. Yay, pet Loki for me. I will. He's in the other room. It's his turn to be in the room now because we're taking turns with the two cats, since it's not good to just straight away put two cats together, because obviously one's going to be like, this is my home. What the hell are you doing in my home? So we'll keep them separated for like a couple of weeks, but we give like one run of the house for a few hours, then we put that one away. You know, obviously there's litter in both rooms, litter, food, and water, so like they're comfy, they're fine. And then we'll lock that one up, and then the other one has run of the house for a few hours, and they can sniff each other through the door. When Loki puts his paw under the door, you'll hear a hiss from Wally, but Wally isn't like striking at him, like and they have met face to face, and it was just a lot of hissing from Wally, but Loki was like mew mew, like he wanted to give Loki a hug, like I want to be your big brother. And Wally said, I'm gonna throw you in a volcano, like I'm like, Wally, stop trying to throw Loki in a volcano, you know. Loki just wants to like hug. He's like so sweet. I mean, Wally's sweet too, but Wally's kind of very alpha because this is his house. And it's so funny because Loki is twice the size of Wally. Like Wally's like, I mean, he's a decent sized puma, you know, but Loki is a panther. Like his tail's like that. Like it looks like he's bristling, but it's just how big his tail is. It's like, oh, you're not poofing, you're just a big cat. Big kitty. You're a big kitty. So yeah, so and then after that, it was like maybe a couple of weeks later, we started seeing Loki on the regular coming to our house. He'd like hang out in our garage, and I started leaving like food and water. Espavo Rising, she's new, but she loves my channel. Thank you! Thank you, thank you. Well, welcome. Loki, it's not your turn yet. Loki's also very vocal, whereas Wally is not. Wally will yell when he has to, but otherwise he's just like, where Loki's like mew 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 mew. And he has these big yellow eyes. It's so cool. Oh, I have so many stories to tell you guys. And we'll get to this as well. And there's a story behind this, so that's cool. So yeah, my boyfriend and I had been talking to our friends. My boyfriend, he goes into, you know, his customers' houses because he tints their windows for their houses. And so he was talking to them, and some of his customers are vets. Some of his customers are people that work at animal shelters. And the last person he talked to, she works at the animal shelter, and he was like, yeah, this cat's really nice. And it was 111 degrees one day out here, and we were having a heat wave, and that poor cat was outside. Let's see, New Genetics said, Loki sounds like my big boy who is bigger than one of my dogs. Green Owl, wow, typo prone. Hey, hey. So, yes, everybody was like, take the cat. And the lady that works at the shelter, she's like, off the record, take that cat. And my boyfriend was like, but he's microchipped. Like, you know, he says, I would feel bad. He says, because what if Wally had gotten out and, you know, and somebody had taken him? And the lady that works for the shelter and a vet had said, they're like, okay, if Wally gets out, you look for Wally, and you would find any way to bring him home. You'd have posters up, you'd be, you know, asking for him because you know he's not supposed to be outside. Like he's such a sweet guy. Like he would get hit by a car or he'd get eaten, you know, because there is no instinct in Wally. And they said, with this cat, they're all, if he's being left out, like if he's in front of your house at 2 in the morning, he's in front of your house at 11 at night, he's in front of your house all afternoon and all day, that means he's never going home and he's never being let inside. And they're all, and then that basically means the owners aren't being a good family to him. And so who knows if he's getting food and water, and who knows if he's just like chasing down birds and lizards and that's the main source of his nutrition. They said he could get infected if like he gets into a fight with another cat. He could have something wrong with his teeth. Like the vets are like just like, off the record, take the cat. And they're like, and if he's microchipped, there's a way around it. And they're like, off the record, like you didn't hear that from us. Like they said, if when you take him in to get his shots, and because we're gonna get him like his shots, just make sure that everything's like nose to tail. We're gonna make sure that he's tip top, you know, get him all checked out, get, you know, a little dental exam, make sure everything's fine. We'll give him a flea dip, but he hasn't really been itching. I don't think he has any fleas. We haven't gotten flea bit, but you know, better safe than sorry, you know. And they said, well, when you take him in for all that, just say, this is my new cat. They said, like, the vet's office isn't going to scan a new cat, like, assuming that you stole a cat. You know? They're like, you know, not unless you ask them. So, like, a vet was telling this to my boyfriend, and a different person, totally different person, a person that works at a shelter told this to my boyfriend. And everybody was just like, take him. He is begging to come into your home. Like, just take him. Like, you are the rightful owners of that cat. And we're like, okay. So Thursday we brought him in, and when I was checking my calendar, I realized we brought him in during the new moon, like right at the eclipse, because we brought him in at night. Anyway, and then I went in for acupuncture yesterday, and I was talking to, you know, my acupuncturist, who's like my mom, and I was telling her about Loki, and then she goes, oh, and she goes, you keep the cats separated? And I said yes. And she says, 1 week they will be okay. She says, because of course Wally will be upset. This is his home and he thinks there is an intruder trying to hurt his mother and father. So this is why he's being very protective right now, because Wally will like try to back me away from the room. You know, Wally will like use his body to create a barrier, and he just like hisses. I'm like, Wally, no, it's okay. Like, I'm fine. Like, it's just a panther in that other room. That's fine. Panthers and pumas should get along, you know? Yeah, Dr. Wang was like, she says, yeah, so they'll be fine in a week. I have this feeling. Wally has a very gentle nature. I can feel the energy of this cat you have brought in. Also very gentle nature, but I do feel Wally has a more dominant nature and this one more submissive. So it's a good pairing, good yin and yang. And then she thought it was funny. She's like, ho, ho, ho. One is black, one is creamy color, yin and yang, you know? She was like thinking of the symbol, and she was like pointing to the symbols in the room. And then she said, your old cat, not Wally. What's the old cat? And I said, Presley. And she went, yeah. No, your old cat is this new cat. She goes, I see, you take him to the vet. And she was like, you know, you'll see that if you check his age, check how old he is. She goes, he will be as old as the number of years that your cat has been dead. And I was like, whoa. Because we kind of got some feelings like Presley may have had a hand in it. Presley's a little spirit. And there were a couple of times I looked out my back window into the backyard and saw Loki sitting on Presley's grave staring at me, like right on top of the grave. And I was like, I don't know what to make of this. And the fact that they both had really striking eyes. I mean, two totally different cats. Like Presley was a Siamese. This one is black cat. But Presley had the biggest lavender eyes, like not blue, not a deep blue. They were lavender. They were a dark color of my dress. Like that was his eyes. And anytime anybody ever saw Presley, they were like, ooh, that's a pretty cat. They're like, is it a boy? Is it a girl? Those eyes. You know, everybody would always mention his eyes. Look at those eyes. They're lavender, you know, and everybody was like, we didn't know cats could have lavender eyes. And so now with Loki, like the first thing everybody notices is his eyes, those yellow eyes, those big yellow eyes. And I was like, and I was sitting in the garage one day with Loki, and I was like, okay, Loki, I have to go. And Loki had a tear come down his eye. I was like, oh, you're breaking my heart. I was like, because I don't know if I can bring you in the house yet, you know, and then I was like, and he looked at me, and I could swear to God for a brief second, Presley was looking at me, and I was like, whoa, like, what am I seeing? So, so yeah, it's been, I mean, you know, he's adjusting to his new environment. When he gets to roam the house, like, he's totally fine. Like, it's like he knows our house. Like, he knows where certain toys are hidden. Like, in the house, it's really weird. Like, he knows our house already. Like, every room, every, you know, where, he went to a bin that Presley or Wally doesn't touch, but it's Presley's old toys. And that cat went straight to that bin and started pulling out all of Presley's favorite toys. And I called Brian right away. I was like, holy shit. This cat made a beeline for Presley's toys, not Wally's toys. And he pulled out all his favorite toys. And they were like, they're in a basket. And we just kind of like preserve, like my boyfriend can't get rid of, like, he feels like he's getting rid of Presley if he gets rid of his old toys. So there's just a little basket that we put off to the side with his old toys, and that cat got into it. And we were like, oh, this was yesterday. So yes, now we have Loki. So it's probably going to be like a week or two before maybe you'll start seeing both of them in my videos, you know, but for now it'll probably just be one or the other. Right now Wally's allowed to be out and roaming the house, but it's Wally's glamping time, so he's actually just in the other room taking a snooze. So yeah, that was exciting, and that was the first story I had to tell you guys. I have my second story, and then the last story will be about the witch's bounty and why this one's like pretty awesome. I haven't opened it yet, by the way. That's why the title says unboxing. Like, I took the package that it came in off, but I haven't opened it. I was like, I'll wait for the live chat. Okay, so you guys all know about my dream car. Like, I've been dreaming about this car and about, like, since I was 13. So let me give you a little backstory. Okay, 13-year-old Tara was at the gas station with her mother back in, this is either 93 or 94. So I was like either 12 or 13. And this red car pulls up, like vroom, 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 vroom. And people that were walking on the sidewalk like stop to stare at this car. And my mom like even stopped pumping gas. And people at the gas station were like it was really kind of funny with everybody's like mouth literally open. Like, nobody in my neighborhood had seen a car like this before, this red car, and I didn't know what it was. I was like, I thought it was a race car, I thought it was a spaceship on wheels. Like, I'm like, so I asked my mom, I was like, Mama, like, what is that? And my mom's like, she says, oh, that's a Dodge Viper. I was like, whoa. And like, the guy gets out and he looks kind of lost. He's like kind of looking around. And I asked my mom, I was like, can we get one of those? And my mom's like, no, we can't afford one of those. Like, she says, that's just for rich people. That's what rich people get. And I was like, whoa, maybe I'm going to get one day. And my mom's like, ha! Unless you marry a doctor, sweetheart, you're never moving up in class. And I was like, And then my brain went like tick, 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 tick. And I was like, I shall obtain this car someday. It will be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine. And so in my mind, you know, I'd always been, you know, having this thing that, you know, one day I'm gonna have a Viper, and one day I'm gonna have my own job, I'm gonna make my own money, and I'm gonna, you know, and nobody's gonna tell me what to do, and no, you know, and I hate when people tell me, like, when people tell me I can't do something, I will do it. It's like, are you challenging me? So, but yeah, I always thought it was a pretty car. And then like about 6 years ago, I was looking at Vipers on my computer, and I was just thinking, I was like, man, one day I wish I could have a Viper. And then all of a sudden there was like this like stroke of like lightning. Yeah, I mean, he's like, right? And I was like, well, why can't I have it? Like, why can't I have it right now? Okay, because I don't have that kind of money right now. But I was like, I could save up for it. And I was like, okay. So I like evaluated my bills and realized like I really don't like my overhead at the time, because this is when I was living in an apartment, and like my bills weren't really that much, and so I was actually saving quite a bit with my teacher pay. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna start saving $1,000 a month. And so that's what I did. Every paycheck I just deducted like 1,000 and put it straight to my savings. And so like every month just 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. And then at the beginning of this school year, my boyfriend said, hey, if you're gonna get your Viper, you better get it this summer. And I said, oh, I'm not ready yet. I need to save for one more year and then I'll be ready. I said, because then I will have exactly half saved for the car. And I want to go to the performance driving school so that I don't kill myself in a performance vehicle. So I want to learn how to drive safely so I don't like hurt anybody on the road with a really high horsepowered vehicle. I was like, you know, and then I want to save in case it needs an exhaust, because I hear like some of the exhaust sucks. And you know, and if it needs to be clear broad, which is like this instead of like having the, you know, the black bra on the front of the car, it would be clear broad in all the places that rocks would chip the paint, so it preserves the paint. And I was like, and you know, I'm calculating how much everything costs, and so I had my total, and I was like, in one more year I'll be ready. And my boyfriend's like, okay, in one more year it's going to be out of your price range, because the last Viper was sold in 2017, and every used Viper has now jumped up quite a bit. And I was like, he's like, remember when you weren't ready to buy our house, but we had to buy our house like right when he says, and I was thinking, it's like, I always have my plan of how things are supposed to be, and then I'm never ready, but we go into it anyway, and then everything turns out like how I always wanted it. So like when I always wanted a house, I always wanted a 2-story house, but I was like saving up for our house, and my boyfriend's like, okay, we got to jump on this house because the market's going crazy right now, and if we don't go now, like it'll be out of our price range. And I was like, oh, but I'm not ready yet. And then we had to jump into it. Now we have our lovely home, and now our lovely home is worth a lot more than we paid for it. And then it was like the same with teaching, you know, when I came down to San Diego, because I'm from San Diego, but I went to school up north. And when I came back, I was like, oh, I will sub for a year, you know, get to know the different schools, you know, and be really responsible about it, get to know all the staff members, and then start applying to the different schools in the district, and I'll get a teaching job. I subbed for one day. I was going to sub for a year. I subbed for one day, and the next day, the school I had subbed at for the previous day called me and was like, hey, do you want a job? I was like, well, I was thinking of subbing for a year. Okay, because we need somebody in a classroom right now. There's a teacher that, yeah, it's a long story. And so that teacher's not in that room right now, and we need a teacher in that room. And hey, we liked you yesterday. You seem like a bright girl. You seem like you can handle kids pretty well. How would you like a job? And I was like, oh, well, I wasn't ready, but okay. So that's kind of like how my life's always been. I always think I have this plan, and I'm like, oh, I'm not ready yet. Okay, I guess we're doing this. Okay, so yeah, so this was going to be the summer that I get my Viper, and it's not like just because it's a super hot car, but it's because like, you know, coming up from where I come from, people have this mindset that you can't do certain things, that there's these barriers. And for me, my whole life, I've been like, I don't understand why there's these barriers. Like, why can't I do this? Why can't I be this? Why can't I do this? Like, why can't I go here? Like, I don't understand, like, why? Hey, Christina! New Genetics said, it's the dream. Yeah. And it's like, every time, because I mean, that car hasn't been my only dream. You know, I've had other dreams and I've attained them, but that was like the one going farthest back to like 13-year-old me, where I was just kind of figuring out who I was, and I had decided, you know, that I mean, it was very quick. I mean, obviously I still had tons and tons of learning to do as I got older, but it was like this brief little click in my brain that was like, I'm gonna be who I want to be, and I'm going to use, like, this world is gonna be my playground, and I am going to do what I want. And like, and I don't understand like barriers. Like, why can't I just do certain things? So yeah, so that's that whole mindset. And so this is like, everything kind of coming full circle, like kind of cool. So my boyfriend was showing me, different cars that were on the market, and he was saying that it's best to buy from a private seller than a dealership, because, and especially buying out of state, because it would be cheaper, and then bringing it into California, because our to register a vehicle just went up by a lot. So it was like, okay, so we could fudge the numbers a little bit about how much we paid for it, bringing it into California, so that way the tax to bring it in won't be as much. And so the guy that I did buy my Viper, the guy we bought it from, was like totally happy with that. He's like, dude, California is outrageous with their like the registration and everything. And so he's the second owner, I'll be the third owner, and my boyfriend was showing me all these different cars, and there was one I saw, it was yellow, and I was like, dude, and my color of the year has been yellow, and like, yellow, hello. And so I was like, I kept thinking, and then I started dreaming about it. I was like, I need that yellow car. I want the yellow car. And my boyfriend was like, oh, okay, well, let's see what else they have. And I was like, how about that yellow car? How's the yellow car? And so then my boyfriend asked me the other day, or like last week, he's like, do you still like that yellow car? I'm like, yes. I was like, I've been telling you, like, you've been showing me all these other ones. I'm like, I want the yellow one. And I don't know why, because normally yellow is not my color, but it's been like all about my color this year. Yellow. And so he's like, well, we'll drive out to Arizona and we'll go take a look at it. So we went to Arizona on Monday, this past Monday. And it was monsoon season, and they were having a dust storm, and it was like craziness, but we made it there. And when we got to the guy's place, like, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. Like, it was a beautiful day for the time period that we test drove it and everything. It's so beautiful. It's yellow with black stripes, and not a mark on that car. And so then my boyfriend wanted to get thoroughly checked, so we drove it to the dealership, and they put it up on the lift. And I think it needed to get one hose replaced. Hey, Sammy, what's up? But it's under warranty. Like, the car's under warranty till 2022, and the powertrain till 2028, and it's all transferable, so that we transferred it all under my name now. So if anything goes wrong with that vehicle, like, they could just fix it. And so since it was already at the dealership, they were replacing the hose. There was a recall that they already fixed, but they like cleared the system so that like recall doesn't like pop up anywhere. If you looked under that car, I could have wiped my finger and maybe there would have been a little bit of dust. Like, there wasn't an oil drip or anywhere. Like, it was, it's so pretty. So we're going back Tuesday of next week to go pick it up, and we're gonna bring it back to Cali. And then I realized that my cool like Kill Bill jacket that I have, my yellow jacket with like the black stripes, it's like, Beatrix Kiddo's like Kill Bill jacket, it matches the car. I was like, oh my god, I need a samurai sword now. What up, Sean? And he was, and so yeah, and so the guys I was buying it from, there's these two young guys, they're brothers, and so they apparently go in half on all their purchases. And the money that they were getting from the car, they're going to use it for a new car that they want, plus they were getting their dad a car for his birthday, which I think his birthday was like a couple days ago. And so they were like, we have just one question for you. I mean, obviously we're selling it to you, and we're getting everything situated, but they're all, I mean, nothing against girls and fast cars, but it's very unusual to see a girl winning a Viper. There's a lot of fast cars out there that are hot, and some girls like really dig some of those fast cars. And they're like, and like, no judgment or anything, but a Viper is a weird car. And they're like, what's with you and the Viper? And I was like, okay, I got a story for you. And so I told them, and they were like, all right. They're like, that's pretty cool. And they're like, So yeah, they're all take good care of her. You know, we want to well, we're gonna exchange emails and phone numbers when I go up to pick it up, because the original owner from Chino, California still contacts that owner asking him, how's my baby doing? How's she driving? You know, because when it comes to those, like, all the owners like to keep in contact and make sure that the car hasn't been wrecked and it's still doing well. So they're like, we want to like check up on our baby every once in a while, so we're going to be calling you about the Viper. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, oh, that's okay. So yeah, my car's coming home Tuesday. I'm super excited, and I'm just like I can't believe it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I said I was gonna do something and I did it. It's like all these things. Like, I said I was gonna get a 2-story house someday, and I did it. Like, back in college, when I said I'm gonna graduate in 4 years, even though the units that I needed would have taken like 5 to 6 years for me to get out of school, I was like, I don't care, I'm getting out in 4. And so I decided to take winter session, summer session. I was like, I manifest this shit, man. When I was in high school, I was like, I'm gonna be a NC2A runner. Like, I'm gonna be on the track and field team for a college. And people were like, yeah, but you have to be really good. I'm like, I can practice. I can work hard. And I was an NC2A runner. Like, it's like everything I've ever wanted wasn't handed to me, by the way. I had to work my ass off for every single thing that I've ever done, that I've ever owned. And and it just feels so good when you achieve it. And like, I am like all pumped on girl testosterone right now. He's like, you go girl. Sammy's like, hell yeah. So expect to see a video with my baby Viper in it. So yes, it is a 2013 Viper GTS with 13,000 miles on it. A lot of 13s. New Angela Tick said, yes, yes. So, wow, I just got that. Wow. You know what's weird? 3s have been following me. 3s everywhere. And by the way, the 3 people that were there while I bought the car, the 2 brothers and the father, 13,000 miles, 2013. The Viper vlogs. Yes. You know, my boyfriend actually was like, you need to do a Viper vlog. I was like, nobody wants to see that. He's like, people want to see that. So yeah, that'll be awesome. And, oh, the card that I pulled today, you know, my card of the day that's in the other room on my dresser, or my nightstand, the card I pulled was Black Cat, and I was like, oh, Loki. But the card number was 13. I don't know what's with these 3s, but they're awesome. They are everywhere. I'm being stalked by 3s. 3s, 13s, 3s, 13s. I was getting stalked by 10s and 5s, but now it's 3s and 13s. It's pretty sweet. I'm calming down now because I am so stoked. Yes. Oh, and I'm kind of a nerd, but I mean, you guys are like, nerd what? No, we couldn't tell. Green, I want to hear that engine purr in his, oh, you will. Oh, you will. Trust me. Oh, yes. And as I go to obtain my Viper, I feel like Garth from Wayne's World playing the drum set, and it's like taking the drum set. Oh no, sir, I'm here to buy today. I'm here to buy. Oh yes, Wayne's World. Yes. Oh, anyway, I like Mighty Car Mods. It's a show. It's on YouTube. I think they show it on TV too, maybe. But it has Marty and Moog. And it's in Australia. Anya, hey. And like Moog puts out this music, which is really awesome music, but he like makes the music specifically for their episodes, you know, for their Mighty Car Mod episodes. And there was one song they made to make fun of a car that they found where the license plate said "too sexy," and it was like some like beat up car or whatever. And but and the video that goes with it is hilarious, but I love the song. Like, the song is so stupid that it's like, It's like, too sexy. Put your hands up and your pants down. Oh my god, it's like, oh my god. You guys need to like look it up on iTunes, like Moog Too Sexy or Mighty Car Mods Too Sexy. It says, touch my willy, tricks ya, it's a fanny. Touch my fatty, tricks ya, it's a willy. Too sexy. And I was like, that is gonna be the first song that plays in the Viper. I'm just gonna crank it and just like, it's like the stupidest song ever, but it just makes me laugh, and I'm like, that's what we're gonna be like driving down that quiet Arizona street, just like, too sexy. So yes, I am so excited. Okay, woo, car giving me hot flashes. Now on to the Witch's Bounty Box. Okay, bam. So I got contacted by the Witch's Moon Box, and they said that they really liked my review videos that I do of their box, and they're like, hey, do you mind if we start sending you the Witch's Bounty for review? And I was like, I was like, me? Like, me? I'm like, oh, sure, like, yeah. I was like, oh my god, oh my god. I'm like, I love subscribing to the Witch's Moon. Like, you guys have like so many awesome things. I was like, oh. So yeah, when I went to the post office today to drop off my dude's stuff for his job, and I saw that I had a package, and it was this. I was like, oh. So dun 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 dun. I'm going to be opening it now. I haven't opened it yet. Okay. I love how their boxes smell. Okay, okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I'll actually make like a proper video too of like, you know, how I do my reviews. But this is like the actual like unboxing while I'm here on the live chat. So woohoo. Okay, so looks just like this when you open it up. And I love to keep the little strings for like projects that I do, or if I'm, you know, putting together people's gifts, like I like to just keep the twine. Anyway, ooh, protect and prosper. So they all have a theme, and they always give you like a little blurb about that theme, and then they always, well, at least from what I know from the moon boxes, or the Witch's Moon boxes, and I've gotten one Witch's Bounty box before, and that was a gift, and I was like, oh. And so, well, I mean, this is a gift too. I mean, like, seriously. And it's like somebody sending me something so I could do a review of it, and I'm like, what? Okay, so they have the items that they describe them, the items that are inside this box, and then there's like a little farewell down at the bottom. So I will give it a read. Oh my gosh, like so much awesomeness. We got Loki. I have a freaking awesome hellish viper. I was going, everything is so awesome right now. Anyway. Oh, and by the way, when we went up to go check out the viper was on day 37, the last day of my 37 days of gratitude that I've been doing, like, for my birthday, because I turned 37. I just thought that was nice. Unique coincidence. Anyway. Okay. Along our winding path, we find trials and tribulations that attempt to sink us where we stand. These obstacles are committed to testing our determination, strength, and personal power. Holy shit. We are wise to know that the question does not lie within if, but rather when. We truly strive to be prepared, willing and able to overcome these challenges along our journey. We prepare ourselves to quickly step past these emotions, rising above them and continuing our growth towards a spiritually prosperous and rewarding existence. We have selected and curated these unique items to protect you while rising above the unneeded emotional body of fear, negativity, and complacency. Allow yourself to embrace the true magic that resonates within your path so that you may walk forward with power and conviction. The sacred items in this box are as follows. Wasn't that literally what I was just talking about? Like, I have literally had to walk through the valley of the shadow of shit. And I fear no evil. And I fear no shit. Feeling kind of badass. It's a nice feeling to have. Anyway, wow. Okay, so here are the items in the box. Number 1, black star diopside pendant. Wow. This awe-inspiring pendant has been cast into a one-of-a-kind mold using silver. As you connect with the energies of this unique crystal, you will begin to feel any moodiness slowly disconnect from your higher self. Among many cultures, this stone was known as the crying stone, as it has been said to cleanse the soul of unwanted, overwhelming, stagnant emotions. The name diopside comes from 2 words, to vision, making the stone the creator of second sight. Ooh. As you allow the energy of the black star diopside to drain unwanted emotions, focus on calibrating your psychic sight through a new lens of fearlessness, determination, life power, and love. This stone will re-energize the body, mind, and soul. While under light, you will be able to see the 4-pointed star, making this stone a unique addition to your collection. Oh my god. On the back of this pendant, we have the symbol of the phoenix guardian spirit cast from the silver. Oh my god. That just made my heart skip in a good way. Woo! This very powerful symbol has a prominent position in the hierarchy of spiritual guardians in many cultures and religions, bringing strength, power, and protection to the wearer. The phoenix promises the fiery rise of rebirth from the ashes. It's kind of like 13. The ashes that remain are that of negativity and bad habits that have been cast from the purity of your spiritual body. As you come face to face with challenges and obstacles, allow the energy of this black star diopside pendant to catapult you through. Allow the reminder of strength and conviction to bring true prosperity into your life. The affirmation is, I rise above the challenges that I face and become renewed by the beautiful experience of life. I am protected on my virtuous path. Ooh. And then they have their Witch's Shield Anointing Oil. The oil has been brewed to bring forth the energies of strength, magic, and protection. As you cultivate your energy each day, allow this anointing oil to be your companion. Feel the overwhelming connection between you and your divine purpose. As above, so below. We have enchanted this oil with oils of cedarwood, myrrh, frankincense, sandalwood, and a special mixture of our Protect Magical Oil from our personal cabinet of witchery, along with cedar, lavender, and sage herbs. We have included a Lemurian mini quartz said to teach oneness and used to clear all chakras. Use this oil to anoint your candles, jewelry, and skin. Ooh. Anya said, ooh, oh, she has yellow nails right now too. Awesome. And Sean said, very cool. Okay, and then there's a mini protection candle with Palo Santo. Oh my gosh, Palo Santo. We have hand-rolled a protection candle for you to burn during any time of uneasiness or anxiety. This candle has been left undressed so that you are able to add oils that may pertain to your individual situation. I love candles, like with oil. I don't actually put dresses on candles, in case you were wondering. We have also included a piece of Palo Santo or holy wood to light from the flame of your candle. As you waft the purifying smoke through your sacred space, focus your intentions on banishing negativity and creating a protective barrier. Unwanted energies will dissolve, leaving you able to focus on your craft. And the very last thing is a rough red garnet. You know, I've been thinking about garnet lately. New Age Lunatic said, Lemurian. To accompany you on your path, we have included a rough red garnet. This persistence stone intensifies life power, restrains anger, and cheers the spirit, quickly releasing and driving away gloomy thoughts and emotions. Keep this stone with you throughout your day or meditate with its energy during ritual or spell work. Let's take a look inside. Okay, so it has this beautiful maroon paper. And I always love their little packaging material. And we have this little black box. We're going to take this out. Oop, and underneath that is the little cord that comes with it. Christina said 2 of my daughters have garnet for their birthstones. Ooh, I've been thinking about garnet a lot lately. I was like, that's a stone I haven't worked with in like a while. No, it has been a while. I was like, garnet. So this probably is this black star diopside pendant. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna hold on. Check that out. Ooh, you guys could see the light in there. That's pretty cool. It's kind of moving around. That's so pretty. And the phoenix. Yes. By the way, I've been all into the phoenix lately. That is so cool. Wow. You can literally see the star. It's wow. Amy said their boxes and everything in them always have perfect timing for me. They are awesome. The necklace is gorgeous. Yes, yes. Like this month's moon box, which some of the stuff is on my altar. Like you can see the mint candle up there and everything. It's like everything is always like, yes, like that's exactly what's going on right now. Like I don't know how they do that, but that's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to take this out. Ooh, I don't know if you could tell, this isn't black. This is like a deep purple velvet. A little bit deeper than my charolite bracelet. Whoa. Okay, so I just put that in there. And I like their little cords. Well, I know I have my other necklace on, but we'll just boop, boop. I'm gonna take this one off. This one, by the way, is my giant Amazonite. There we go. Yeah, this was my Amazonite. Okay, so got the diopside. Okay, and then looking a little bit more, we have a little red, well, maroon bag. So let's take out this little bag. Oops, getting packaging material everywhere. Okay. Christina said, beautiful, yes. Ooh, it's the rough garnet. So pretty. Ooh, you can kind of see it's deep. That is rad. That is rad. Yes. Ooh, oh my gosh, so pretty, so pretty. Okay. Digging around in here, it looks like we have the candle, the mini spell candle with the Palo Santo. Ooh. So definitely gonna be, Sean said party, it sure is party. So yeah, I'll be dressing my candle. I can't get enough Palo Santo. It's so good. Yeah, and I'll figure out like what I want to do with this special little candle. Okay, so we'll put that off to the side, and I'm gonna readjust because I think my foot just went to sleep. Okay, and then the last thing in the box was their the Witch's Shield anointing oil. Okay, so let's take this out. That in. And ooh, kind of glittery. Got their Witch's Shield. Let's give it a sniff. I wish there was smell-o-vision on YouTube. A lot of myrrh. Yes. It smells like, I mean, the main note being myrrh, but like the forest floor. Like myrrh and forest floor. Like that, yes. Christina asked if it's the regular box. I thought that they sent more stuff than that. No, this is the Witch's Bounty box. So it's the smaller box. It's their, like they have their, like a little more like higher end, I guess, items, like with the necklace and everything. And this is what the Witch's Moon sent me for a review. I was like, oh, so like yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I felt really special to receive this because I, like on my own, I probably wouldn't be able to afford the Witch's Bounty and the Witch's Moon together. So that's why I just do the Witch's Moon. You know, but I really love the Witch's Bounty box. It's just not like financially feasible for me to do that. So says the girl just bought a Viper. Hey, I saved up for that Viper, by the way. I don't just got that kind of cash on hand. So yeah, that was pretty special. I'm gonna have a little bit of water after that. I am liking this necklace. That is sweet. I'm gonna put a little of this. Christina said, hey, big spender. Dude, my dad always gives me a hard time about like everything. Like he always calls me Miss Moneybags. It's like, I don't know. I go out and buy like a Bath and Body Works lotion on sale for like $3. My dad's like, what do you Miss Moneybags, throwing money left and right? And I'm like, Dad, it was $3. my dad's very he's very careful with his money, which is how he always taught me to be. So that's probably why I'm very good at saving and I'm very good with my money. It's because that's kind of what my dad always taught me. Yes, Miss Moneybags. That's my dad's nickname for me, is Miss Moneybags. It's like anytime I do, if I buy anything, oh, if we buy a steak from Costco, my dad's like, Miss Moneybags, what? You're too good for chicken? You gotta go buy a steak? Like, yes, Dad. Sometimes a girl wants to have a steak once in a while. We all know that teachers are rich. Yes. Miss Moneybags, rich teacher over here. Yes, yes. Yeah, you can't take it with you. That's right. You be ballin', I be ballin'. They be like, psh, you be teaching English? Psh, I be teaching English, rolling around in my Viper. Psh. I coach the track team. I teach the English class. I roll in my Viper. I live in Spring Valley. Payless, yeah, I know them. Walmart, I be going. Oh my gosh, yes. Target, I be rolling there. Only the classy girls sharp at Target, by the way. Anywho. But wouldn't you know it, when I called to tell my dad about the Viper, the kids will know that you are cool. That car is going nowhere near the school. FYI. Ayami said, always good to have a good balance between steaks, Vipers, sale, thrift store shopping. Yes, yes. Yeah. When you're getting into your Viper with your thrift store haul clothes, balance, people. Temperance to a pence. That's how we roll. But anyway, I told my dad about the Viper. And he actually didn't give me any crap for it, because I was like, so I got a Viper. My dad's like, holy shit, you got a Viper, baby? He says, you man, you've been talking about that since, how old were you? 13. You've been talking about that since you were 13. He goes, I remember that. You had your whole life planned out. You were going to live in a 2-story house. You said that you were going to grow up and make your own money. You were going to have your fancy car. And you were going to have like cats and dogs and horses and stuff. I was like, okay, well, I have the cat and I have my stuffed horse, floppy horse. I mean, that's technically a horse. So, that's what I'm talking about. New Age Lunatic said, I bet your dad was stoked though. No, he was really stoked. And so he's like, when are you coming by? And I was like, well, I have to go pick it up. And my dad's like, well, you need to roll by the pad. And he's all, do you even know how to drive a stick? I was like, I'm decent. But I said, I'm also going to be renting a Miata, a stick Miata, so that before Tuesday, just to like refresh my stick driving ability, because I would hate to kill the transmission in a very expensive car. You could ride a horse to school. That would, no, I could. Oh, I could ride a horse to school. There's so many horses in our area. Like, I could ride a horse to school. Can I borrow your horse? I would like to take my one horsepower to school. No, that'd be awesome. Do you imagine, like, if the teacher's parking lot were horses? That would be so freaking cool. And then the kids could come out at lunch and like feed the horses. That would be totally cool. They should do this at school. I think we're trending now. We're starting a trend. Does horsepower count? Yes. Tick, tick, tick. Now let's get them horses. Yes, now we gotta get horses. That would entail me getting a ranch. I don't know if I have ranch cash, but you know, we could always work on that. Maybe no horses in my backyard. It would be therapeutic for kids to have horses. And there are actually quite a few students that go to our school whose families do have horses. So I think that's pretty cool. And there's a couple of teachers who have horses as well, and they have like their horse pictures up in their classroom. I think that's pretty cool. Because in East County, we're kind of zoned for, like, if you go like Alpine, Santee area, there's a lot of horses. So a lot more people have ranches and things like that. And then, like, for me, like my house, I can have like a certain number of chickens. I can have like a pig. I think I basically can have like goats. I just can't have a cow. Like but you can have your own little farm animals. So like my friend who cuts my hair, and actually she just did my hair yesterday. She had straightened it, but it's back up in my little twisty bun thing. And she's like, you need to put your hair down more often. She goes, girl, that hair be past your butt crack. You need to be showing people that hair. And I was like, it's a little hot right now, so the hair be up. And she's like, you have me straightening your hair just so you could put it up. You definitely need a pig. Homegrown bacon. Oh my gosh, no, I don't want to kill my own pig. I'd name him Wilbur and he'd be my friend. But yeah, so anyway, my friend who does my hair, she has like her own mini farm. And in fact, that's part of her like Instagram handle is like her last name, Mini Farm. And she has a pig, which she swore was going to stay this big. I was like, that thing is going to turn into like a hog. It did. It's a hog now. She has, no, she had a cat. She has a couple of dogs. They have 2 goats. She has like bees, like she raises for honey, and she like sells her jars of honey. She like totally like tore up the whole front and backyard so that they could make like an irrigation system, because they have a well, so like water's pretty cheap. She said it's like they use so much water and it's like $90 a month. And they have like 5 avocado trees because her husband just bought 2 more. And yeah, it's literally a farm, like, and we can have all that stuff out here, like we're zoned for it. So as long as we don't have, like, for me, for my backyard, I just can't have horses because there's not enough room. So no horses and no cow, but I can have all the other farm animals that I want. So I think that's pretty cool. We wanted to get quail. My boyfriend thinks quail are so cute, and we even built a little quail house. We just haven't put it out in the backyard yet. But yeah, it's like a giant little quail thingy, and it's like they got their little doot, and it's like we can make little quail egg omelets, like just like crack, crack. It'd be so cute. So yeah, eventually we want to have quail because they're cute. But we might have to rethink that because we also have hawks in the area, like the Cooper hawks. Cooper hawks are carnivorous. They will eat their own. maybe think that through. Quail are so cute. Christina said Wally could watch the quail. He'd like that. Oh, he would. That would be like cat porn to him. He would be like just against the window, like, you know, like the Garfield like suction cup, like that would be Wally. We still need to get him some hummingbird feeders so that he can watch the hummingbirds out the window. Not like they don't come up to the windows right now anyway. Okay, let me finish off my water, and then I have another story time for you guys, like a semi-quickie. Okay. Now I'm on to my drink. Okay. Yummy, yummy. Okay, so my dad and my stepmom took me out for my much belated birthday dinner because they had gone on a trip to Peru, and then they had to like decompress like after they came back because, you know, my dad's like, I'm 78, I'm like getting old. Whatever, my dad doesn't look 78. Like, well, my dad's starting to lose muscle mass, but that's because he's not following his doctor's directions. Like the doctor said, because like my dad's always taken really good care of himself, like diet and physically. My dad's always been like a gym rat, and he's always had like his muscles. Like he's my muscular papa, you know. He's my buff papa. He kick everybody's ass. Because he and my stepmom are really oh, hold on. Oh, Iami has to go. Hope you have an awesome day. You too. Have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday and the rest of your weekend. And trust me, I will definitely make a video with the Viper and you guys will hear that engine roar for sure. So yeah, my dad's doctor told him because of his age and that you want to keep the muscle mass you had basically been building your entire life. So my dad had quite a bit of muscle mass, and so the doctor said you're starting to lose it because you're not taking in enough protein in your diet. Because my dad's like, my dad and my stepmom are like really too cheap for like meat and stuff, because they said well, we do get protein, it's just not really a lot of red meat, not because they're vegetarian or anything, but because they're cheap. And so it's like sometimes they'll have chicken or they'll have fish, but mostly it's like vegetables and beans and things like that. And so the doctor said, no, like it's like you really can't mess around at your age, you know, because you're almost 80. So you can't lose lots of muscle mass, because in the event that you get sick or something happens, like that's what you need your body to help you recover. So you live off of what you made when you were young. And so the doctor said you need to start taking in now the amount of grams equal to your body weight in protein. So if my dad weighs like 180 pounds, he needs to take in 180 grams of protein a day. I don't know if you guys know, but that's a lot of protein. Like, you know those little protein bars? Yeah, like the big ones are 30 grams of protein. My dad needs like 180. And then there's, so my dad's like, okay, so he was trying to eat more red meat, and he was having some eggs, but my stepmom's like, like, it's expensive to eat, like, too well. So she kicked him back to like protein shakes and things like that. But then my dad started losing muscle mass again, because like he started like keeping it with the red meat, but then without it, like my dad started shrinking again. And like the protein shakes aren't like doing it that much, like all the eggs that he's eating aren't doing it that much. And I'm like, anyway. So holy cholesterol, that's all the protein. Well, you know, when he was taking, it was interesting you say that, because when he went and was taking in a lot of that red meat, that's what my dad was afraid of, was his cholesterol. But like, I don't even know how this happens. The doctor checked his cholesterol levels, because, you know, they have to monitor all that stuff, especially if like a human being's going to be taking in a mass quantity of meat and things like that. And so his, you know, there's the HDL and the LDL cholesterol. One's considered your good cholesterol and one's the bad cholesterol. Well, his good cholesterol went like through the roof, and the doctor was like, it's way above like what is normally considered normal. And the bad cholesterol had dropped lower than like they said, okay, so let's say the number is like, I don't know, like 120 or something, you know, and he dropped to like 30 for bad cholesterol. It was like the doctor was just like, well, you know, that's just kind of like, you know, how the human body, like, I don't even know how that happens, because we're always told that when you, you know, taking too much of a good thing, you know, like I love me a good steak, but like, would I eat steak like every day for every meal? Probably not. And it was like his like just, you know, and his he like, they were testing his testosterone levels. His testosterone levels were through the roof. His blood pressure was down. His cholesterol, bad cholesterol, was down. Good cholesterol up. And then at that point, that's when my stepmom was like, yeah, but it costs money. So they like took that back out and put it back on protein shakes, and then my dad's numbers just went back to where they were, and I was like, by the way, my dad's like retired, like Teamster, so he has like a really good pension. Like, and my stepmom's a professor at San Diego State, and like, like, I'm like, they're not hurting for cash. I'm like, come on, give the old man a steak, you know. Christina says, some people swear by high protein diets for weight loss and cholesterol control. I don't get it. I'm a flexitarian. Yeah, I kind of go like, my diet is based off of what my body is comfortable with. You know, I can see that, and for some people maybe like the like whole meat diet is okay, and if they're being monitored by a doctor and their numbers are fine, then great, that works for them. For me, I need some carbs in my life. so you know, I kind of like, I don't know, mine is mine. Like, my diet is just my diet. Like, it's just what works for me. It's what works for me, and what makes me feel healthy and strong, and you know, and what makes me feel strong in the weight room, and makes me feel like I have energy. Like, it's, I don't know, it's not really like a diet, I guess. It's just how I eat. But yeah, so, but my dad does have to take in a lot of protein. So, we went out to eat. I totally derailed on this topic. We went out to eat, and my stepmom was talking about, oh, I was at acupuncture when you were at acupuncture the other day, and Dr. Wang was saying that you were in the, that was kind of nice, and so I was like, yeah, and then she said, oh, Dr. Wang told me that you do this thing where you like to look inside of people and you can tell them what's wrong. And I said, oh yeah, Dr. Wang's helping me with that. Like, I'm practicing, and Dr. Wang will have me like feel the energy of the people in the surrounding rooms and then tell her what I see is wrong with them, and then she'll confirm if I'm right or wrong. And I've been right like 100%. So I was like, I think it's cool. Like, I'm just like, you know, it's something I like to do, and it's been helpful, I guess, because I've had people like, you know, hey, go get this checked out or whatever. And I said, I think it's kind of cool. And then my dad, you guys know, well, I don't know if you guys like know my dad, but I talk about him sometimes. He's been a little bit like more open to like woo-woo type stuff, like in his older age, but he used to be like pretty macho. And this is like stuff like his dad used to do. His dad was like, I don't know the word in Tagalog, but it translates to witch doctor. Like, he used to use herbs and things like that to heal people, and that he would do energy healings, and he'd be able to hold your hand and tell you exactly what was wrong with you. And that was kind of passed down in the lineage from our family in the Philippines. And he tried to pass it down to my dad, and my dad wasn't having it because he thought it was silly. And then my dad was kind of sitting there, and he's like, you could really look in people and see what's wrong? And I was like, yeah, why? And my dad's like, because your grandfather used to do that. In fact, all this crap that you do is what your grandfather used to do. He's like, you know, I didn't know like how I felt about all that. And he's like, but you, I mean, you seem to be helping people, and I think that's really good. And he says, and I don't understand it. I don't understand how, like, you do what you do. My dad's like, I'm having some issues. Could you look in me? He's all, I'm open right now. He says, come on. He's all, help your daddy. And so he like opened up and he was like, he says, you're my daughter. You're my girl. Like, help your dad out. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I've never like really looked in family members before. I'm like, I guess I could. And my dad's like, what do you need to like meditate or something? Or I don't know what the hell you need to do. Like, do you need a quiet space? Or because we were at a restaurant. I was like, no, I can do it here. It's fine. I was just like kind of nervous because it was my dad. I'm like, okay. So I'm just going to close my eyes and not talk to you guys for like a minute. I'm like, is that okay? And my stepmom's like, yeah, that's fine. So they went back to watching soccer because like whatever it was, Colombia versus England or something. And so they're watching the soccer, and I'm looking inside my dad, and I think, well, my Uncle Joe might watch this. That's fine. Okay. There are some things that I know for sure are wrong with my dad, and I don't need to look inside my dad to know this because he's told me already. I know that my dad has a bad lower back, hence why he had to stop doing like squats with the bar on his back in, I think this was the mid to late 90s. My dad used to drive like the big trucks for MGD, and he would deliver beer to like the kegs and stuff for the liquor stores in the area. So he had his route, and then as he gained more seniority, he got to stop doing the routes because that's like for the younger guys, and he just had to drive from San Diego to Irwindale and back, which is like their the main plant for MGD, Miller Genuine Draft. Yes, he was known as the Miller Man, by the way. And so he would just like drive there and back because it was also easier on his lower back. But so he was on his route one day in the 90s, and my dad saw some cute girls walking by. Marty Stampolkowski. Hello. How are you? Just talking about my silly dad. There were some cute girls walking by. My dad wanted to show off how strong he was by, instead of doing the smart thing where you roll the keg onto the dolly and then take it off the truck, my dad decided to hoist the keg himself and be like, I'm the man. And he threw out his lower back, and it's never been right since. So that's what my dad gets for showing off. Anywho. I know that my dad has a a tear that never healed properly in his hamstring, because again, he was trying to show off how fast he is, and he was trying to sprint with their old, like my stepmom's old dog. Like, he was trying to sprint with the dog, like tore his hamstring, not pulled his hamstring, tore his hamstring, like it tore off. And he did a flip in the air, and like you could tell there was all this internal bleeding because it was like, it looked like a big bruise on the side of his thigh. It was all purple and everything. I was like, dude, go to a doctor. Like, what's wrong with you? And my dad's like, oh, it'll just heal. Like, my dad just like won't go to a doctor. Dad sounds like a real ham. Dude, he is. He's the guy that at family gatherings like Christmas and Thanksgiving, he makes sure to wear a button-up shirt so that he can unbutton his shirt and show everybody his abs. I'm 78, look at my six-pack. Or last year, I'm 77, look at my six-pack. And then my dad will usually come by and sock me in the stomach because I'm always talking about my six-pack, so I always like flex around my dad. I'm like, ugh, and then he'll like sock me in the stomach, and I like sock him in the stomach, so we always have an ab off. It's a really unusual relationship we have. Anyway, yes, my dad's very look at me. And then I know that my dad tore his pec. So there's one pec that like rises higher than the other because he was doing bench press, showing off again to the dudes at the gym. And he doesn't go to a like a 24-hour, like he goes to a gym that only has like, that's the only gym. It's called Stearns Gym, and it's like these old guys, like it's the 65 and over club that's like in there, and they're like old bodybuilders. It smells like Old Man and Bengay and rust and funk, years of funk. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a fun gym. You get the old guys like talking about like, because they're bodybuilding pictures from like, some of them actually did competitions. They're like all around the gym. There's a signed picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger because he had visited the gym back in like the 70s or something. And so like that's my dad's gym. And so he was trying to show off for the guys. He was like, check this out. Well, this is when he was 75. I'm 75. Whoa! And you pop went his pec, and he felt it snap and go up and down his shoulder blade. And I was like, Papa, go to the doctor. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you need to get this stuff reattached. Like, your body isn't going to heal right. And if it's imbalanced, don't you think that's going to throw your other stuff out of whack? I was like, you know, like when people limp, all of a sudden they start hurting on the other leg because they're putting all their pressure on that leg. Like, my dad's like, it'll be fine. Like, I'm a man. Like, oh my God. Pleased with the macho stuff. Anyway, so yeah, so I know those things about my dad. I know those things are wrong with him, you know, so I know there's an issue here, there's an issue with the hamstring, I know there's an issue with the lower back. I know that he has an issue with his ankle that's been bothering him. The Rocky Gym, dude, it's totally a Rocky Gym. Yeah, yeah. And so, my dad was asking me to look inside of him. So I'm like, okay. So putting those injuries aside, because I know they're there. So it was kind of like a, hey, they're here. I already know they're there. Okay. I look at my dad's ankle, and I'm trying to figure out the cause of the swelling of his ankle. And it was his second and third toe were glowing. I forget the colors now. The only color I remember was his heart color, but it was the two toes, and it was like there was a color or a light from the two toes going over the top of the foot and then causing inflammation in the ankle. So I told my dad, and he's like, no, when I had my toe surgery, it was on the other foot. And I was like, yeah, but if you'd been walking wrong to compensate for your surgeried foot, you probably tweaked your other toes. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't, just maybe go to a doctor. All I know is you probably were walking funky, and so you like pitch your toes off, and now it's causing like inflammation in your ankle. So that's that's what that is. And my dad's like, probably. And I was like, okay. And then I said, you got something going on with your left ear. Or left ear, over here. And then my dad's like, oh, yeah, I get this really sharp pain in my ear, and it's like, it feels like somebody's like stabbing me, and I'm like, ah, and it'll go for like a minute, but then it's fine. And it doesn't happen all the time, but it's once in a while. And I don't know what that is. And I was like, well, I don't know what that is either, but maybe you should go see a ear, nose, and mouth doctor or something. Like, maybe go check that out, because people feeling like they're getting shanked in the ear is maybe not a normal thing. And then my dad was like, I'm having stomach trouble. Can you tell me where in my stomach it is? And I was like, okay. So I saw that it was like in the lower intestine, and it was like something wrong with the bile duct. And then my dad's like, well, that makes a lot of sense. He's like, okay, maybe I'll get that checked out, because that's become rather uncomfortable. And I was like, okay. But there was one that was glaring at me. Like, it was in my face. The other stuff was like minor stuff, but this one was glaring me in the face, and because it troubled me, I kept it to the end, and I kind of made it like it was, oh, by the way, I see this too, you know, with my dad. Okay, so when I looked, the main thing I could hear was his heart beating. He had a big green heart. It was beating. I could hear him breathing. It was like I was inside my dad's body. Like, I could hear it, like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, okay. The heart seemed fine. It seemed strong. It was green. Green's like a good color for me. But there was this red line coming from the heart up into the brain. And it was like flashing, like red, like danger. And I was like, and I didn't know how I felt about that. So I kind of told my dad, I was like, And there might be a line leading to your brain from your heart. And like, what do you know about that? And my dad's like, oh, he says, you know, he goes, I get these sharp pains in my brain, kind of like how I get in my ear, but it's in my brain. And I feel like my brain is splitting apart. And it literally brings me to my knees. I have to stop what I'm doing and I kind of start to fall down and I have to have a seat. It's not, he says, it happens like randomly. And my stepmom was like, yeah, it just like, she says he has to stop what he's doing. And she says he looks like he's having like, I don't know, like his brain's falling apart or something. And he's like in immense pain for like a couple of minutes, but then he's fine. And I was like, oh. And then in the back of my brain, I'm thinking of my grandfather. I never got to meet my dad's dad because he died in the Philippines. Um, and so he had, I don't know how many strokes. Like that was, he had a lot of strokes. And so I'm like worried um, if my dad, I'm like, I don't want him to have a stroke or an aneurysm or anything. So I was like, could you please like just go get that checked out, you know? So yeah, so then my dad was like, well, he says, you're kind of blowing me away with what you can see in me because those are the things that really do hurt me. And he says, he's all, well, hey baby, he's all, you know, if you could see all that shit in me, you could heal me. And I was like, well, Papa, I'm like not that good yet. Like all I can do is give people like a good night's sleep and like I can make them tingle and maybe feel good. Like I can relax people. I said, but I don't know if like at a cellular level, I am like, I'm like not a miracle worker. Like I can't just like poof, my dad's fixed. Like I was like, you know, I said, you should probably like work with your doctor. Like I can always send you stuff to make you feel good. I was like, but I can't heal you. My dad's like, that's crazy. No, that's crazy talk. He says, why you put yourself down like that? He was like, you always say that you can do anything. And he says, and I see you work hard and I don't understand your tarot cards or your whatever you do. He says, but I believe in you because other people believe in you and I see that what you do is good. And he's like, and I don't know how you were able to look inside of me. He goes, that's a gift. And he says, so I'm asking you as your father, he's like, please help me. And I was like, I was like, but Papa, what if I can't help you? And I said, oh my God, I was like, I really need you to go to a doctor, you know? So it's like, I really want my dad to go to a doctor. And I was like, but I'll try to work on him. But like since that discussion with my dad, I've had friends come out of the woodwork that have all come to me like they don't necessarily know that I do the whole look inside of people thing. Like they're like, hey, we know you kind of like delve into like that woo woo type stuff. Like they're like, is there anything you can do for this? Like people are coming to me for like physical healing. Like I mean, I always try. Like I practice so hard every day and I'm always like trying to help, like to literally, I'm like, I want to physically, like that's one of my goals. I want to physically heal people. I was like Dr. Wang, she's really good with acupuncture. Like her thing is the needle. Like she's really good with the needles and knowing where the needles go. Like she's intuitively drawn and like that's how she heals people. I was like, I want to be able to do what she does, you know? And Dr. Wang told me, she was like, I think one day you will, but you must be more seniority. You must be older. She says, I think you need to practice a lot longer. And I was like, yeah, well, I got these people that are coming out of the woodwork all of a sudden, like really all of a sudden, like I'm talking the last 3 weeks, all of a sudden, where people are like banging down my front door because they need me to help them. And I said, and it all started with my dad. And I'm like, and my dad's still like, don't forget, daddy's here. And I'm like, okay. I just found out my friend who sings opera, the opera star, the one that got signed for the Met and, you know, her dream is coming true. She's really not doing well. She's got a lot of complications from a surgery. And they want to do another surgery. And if they do that, she'll be out for months, which means that she will have to cancel her contract to the Met, meaning her dream of singing at the Met, like under contract, is like wouldn't come true. And so she was like, I'm desperate. She was like, you are like my best friend. You are like my soul sister. And she says, if anybody can heal me, she's all, I know that you can. And I was like, yeah, but I was like, I'm your soul sister. I said, and I send you all the love in the world. I was like, but I hope you're going to your doctors. And she said, no, 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 I'm going to my doctors. But I think that like with your good mojo and like the doctors, she's all, that we can like really make good stuff happen. She's all, because she goes, I don't want the Met dream to slip away. And she's all, please, can you help me? And I was like, I'm gonna try my best. So that's what's been going on with me lately. Is like I have all these people like really, really needing me. And I was asking Dr. Wing, I don't know what that means all of a sudden. Like all of a sudden, like my dad, I said, like, that's a big deal for him to ask me to heal him, because like he's coming from a place of not believing in that stuff. And now he's like, I believe in you. And like, so I don't know. Christina said, that's a lot of pressure on you. That's what I'm talking about. I'm like, I said, cause now I'm like, I don't want to fail, or like if I fail my dad, I fail my best friend, I fail like my other good friends. Like I don't want to fail people. Like I really like want to be good, and I want to do good. Like I like to be perfect in everything I do. I know that's not possible to be perfect, but I try my hardest to be as close to perfect as possible in anything that I do, so that I do well. I practice, practice, practice. But I'm like, gosh, and I don't know why all of a sudden, everybody coming out of the womb, like I like to do my general like healing stuff, and it's like, but I can feel my energy shifting, and I don't know. I really don't know, you guys. Maybe you guys can give me some input, like what all that could mean, because right now all I'm feeling is pressure, like pressure to yeah, basically to perform miracles, and I don't think I can. Like I don't it's a lot of pressure. And I'm like, hello, somebody help me do that. Like breathe. Yes, breathe. Whew. We're gonna breathe now. Yes, that's a lot of pressure. And but I don't understand the whole, there have been several people who don't all talk to each other, like coming to me, yeah, and being like, we need you. Christina said, when you send energy, I can feel it physically. You have power, but medical treatment is a good idea too. That's what I'm saying. I keep telling everyone, I was like, go see a doctor. Like I can send you all the good juju that I got. But I was like, I think you really like, I said, that's why doctors make the big bucks. I was like, because they're good at what they do. They've gone to school for years to be healers, some, they know the right medicine, some know the right surgery, some are like really good at surgery, some are really good at, whatever their specialty, doctor specialty is, some people are really good psychiatrists, like, those people are good in their fields. I was like, utilize them. Because I believe in like utilizing all your resources. Like that's in my brain how healing is done, is like you can have somebody who's an energy healer and you can have them doing their thing because that's how they know how to do their thing. And then you can have a doctor who, I don't know, let's say you're going to, I don't know, gynecologist or something. I think of that because I'm a girl, so I don't know, gynecologist, like expert in his or her field, great, so you got the energy worker doing their thing, you got the doctor doing his or her thing, and then whoever else you're working with, maybe some physical therapist or something, doing their thing, it's like, and if you like work with all these people who are really good at what they do, then I think you can like actually like do really some, like really do do some good for yourself. At least that's how I see healing. Like I'm always like, okay, I like to help assist people in their healing journey. But it's just been felt like, you know, these past few weeks of like this pressure of like me being the only one. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You know, it can't just be one person. Like, I don't see that as how things should work. It can't just be like you go to this one person and, you know, and some things, maybe they're minor. Like, you know, there are some things that I have. If I go to my acupuncturist, I'm fine afterwards. You know, there are some things that I go to my acupuncturist and it's like she kind of helps. Um, but if I also go to, there's this guy that does something called the active release method, which is a type of like muscular chiropractics. Not really like popping anything, but like moving muscles around. And it's like, you know, so if I use him and Dr. Wang for certain things, like bam, I am absolutely healed. You know, sometimes I just need her for certain things, you know. So I'm like, that's how, like, this is me. I don't know, I'm just rambling. I'm like talking out of my brain right now of just like processing. um yes, Christina, utilize all the resources available. I truly believe in that. So I'm definitely urging my friends, my best friend, my dad. I'm like, go to the freaking doctor. And for my dad, if you don't like the doctor, go to Dr. Wang. You know, if you don't want to go to like a doctor, like you can go to the acupuncturist. My dad's like, I don't like needles. Oh my God. I'm like, you're incorrigible. You're like a little boy. So yeah, but I have been feeling that pressure, and I was asking Dr. Wang, I was like, why do you think all of a sudden like people are really pushing me to do that though? Like really, and she says, well, um maybe you're shifting in that area in your life where that will become something you're more dominant in. She says, like, for now, like she goes, I love all the things you make, you know, because she loves my salves. So she just bought a bunch of my salves. She's like, I love your salves. They feel very magical, and I can feel healing coming from them. It is very nice. And she says, and your tarot cards. I love your tarot cards. You know, you're very good at it. She goes, but I feel like maybe your energy is shifting. And so people are feeling this shift. And so they come to you because they see like this shift in you. Like maybe she could possibly help me. And she says, but I don't think you're ready yet to really do what you could do, but I think you need to be older. She goes, or more seniority. She keeps saying you need more seniority. She was like, so keep practicing. She says, because I think you do well at what you do now. And she says, but she says, in order to be, she goes, like where I am, she goes, I've had years and years and years of practice and working with guides and going to acupuncture school and re-upping my acupuncture and also working with my guides and angels and she loves Amma, so she works with like Amma energy, and she's like, I work with Amma, and she says, and this is how I've come to heal people as my occupation. And she says, and how I heal always evolves, but I always use the needle. That is always how I treat people. She goes, for you, she told me, she says, she says, next time, she goes, when do you do your live chat next? I was like, on Saturday. She's like, okay, on Saturday. She goes, when you do your healing at the end, she goes, I want you to try a different visualization and see how it works for you. She says, I want you to feel the energy of the people that are in the quote unquote room with you. And she says, and look inside all of them and see where you might find imbalance. That's what you're looking for, is imbalance in the body where things are not, you know, she says, not yin and yang. And I was like, okay. And she says, and then I want you to take a mental needle, like see the needle mentally, like my acupuncture needle. She goes, and I want you to put the needle on the spot that is imbalanced and see what the needle does. Do you see pictures? Do you hear things? Are you sensing things? Are you, you know, what is it? And she says, and the needle will tell you how to heal the person. Maybe the person needs to work through some dark emotions that they're having. Sherry Bug, hey! She is at the pool right now because she said it's bloody hot in Ohio. No, oh God, Ohio. All kinds of bugs and hot. So yeah, so she was like, you know, use the needle, see what comes up. Maybe there's like, you know, they're going through some trauma right now. Maybe it's emotions that's kind of like in that wound or in that hurt or whatever is imbalanced. And she says, and then try to heal that way. She goes, like, if you want to practice. She goes, this is all practice. Always, your whole life is practice. And she says, so let's say, she goes, let's say for me, you see imbalance in my shoulder. You put the needle mentally in my shoulder. You leave the needle. What is the needle doing? She goes, maybe you're seeing me as a child and my mother. And she says, because my mother was very strict. So perhaps my mother's burden is weighing on my shoulder. She says, so then you try to heal that part of me and let me know. I will also work on that part of me. And then you heal the shoulder. She says, try that. Try that in your next live chat. And I was like, okay. So you guys, that's what I'm going to do at the end of the live chat. So when I'm sending my energy healing at the end, I'm going to be needling you guys. Mentally, not actually. So I'm going to try that out because I thought that was interesting. I mean, and I'm always willing to try new avenues of, you know, stuff. And I mean, I'm really loving my journey. However, the pressure to like miraculously heal people was a little much. You know, so I'm always like, hey, you know, work with your doctor, utilize your resources. And I'm more than happy to help give it an extra kick in the pants. You know, that's what I do. Maybe that's what I do. I give spiritual kicks in the pants. Okay. Gosh, what are we at? 96 minutes. Okay, well, New Genetic said she needs a Dr. Wang. Dr. Wang's freaking awesome. I remember there was one time, and before we finish up here, I was really, I think I had like a sore throat or something. I was like sick and I had a sore throat. Sherrybug said, sounds interesting. It does. And I was laying there, you know, on the bed. She had already put all the needles in me. I forgot what her and I were talking about because I couldn't talk much because she also had needles in my throat and it kind of hurt to talk and I was like, ugh. Sometimes you wire my jaw shut. She said something, oh, I know what she was telling me, because this was actually probably a while back when I was like kind of getting started on my journey, my spiritual journey. And I was like, that I was a little uncomfortable, like being me. I'm always cool being me, but like really showing all parts of me, like my intuitive me, and like letting people know, hey, I see energies, I talk to spirits, I can see chakras, I read tarot cards. Like I didn't let everybody know that because it was a little self-conscious. And so I was telling Dr. Wang that I was you know, nervous about, like, what if people don't like me and they find, you know, out that I do all this other stuff. And Dr. Wang says, why you care? Why you care what other people think? And I said, well, because you won't have any friends if like people don't like you. And she says, you want to be a fake person so somebody be your friend? I don't understand. I love her like matter of fact. Like, and I was like, well, no, I don't want to be a fake person. I want to be me, but I just don't let people know all of me. And she says, you know, you're young. You're so young. And she says, I think I was about 36 when I realized I don't, why do I care if people think I'm a little funny, that I am talking to myself, that I am, I make noises, and she goes, and I go, huh, ha, huh, because she does that sometimes. She's all, because I'm moving energy. She goes, if people all are uncomfortable with this, that is their problem. Sherrybug said, love her. I think she would be a guest in your live chat someday. You know, her and I did an interview. There's like one video somewhere in my videos of like the Dr. Wang acupuncture interview. It's like her life story. And it was back when I first started YouTube, so like not a lot of people saw it, but it's in there somewhere if you guys find it. And I still want to like have her on a live chat again someday, but she's always so busy, and traveling around the world. Always trying to heal. She's trying to heal places. She literally goes to places just to sit and meditate, heal, and then she flies back. Like that's what she does. She loves to try and heal the world. But she was like, you know, if people are uncomfortable with what you do, then what you do is not for them. And she says, and if, she goes, you, what you say, how you act makes them feel uncomfortable, perhaps they have a problem with themselves. She goes, and it's projecting onto you and you take it personally. Don't take it personally. That is their problem. She goes, that's not your problem. And then she says, but maybe you don't understand because you're so young. And Sean said, I def need a Dr. Wang. Yes, I always say she's not of this earth. Like Dr. Wang is like, she's in the stars somewhere. It's like, she really doesn't give a shit about like what people think about her. And so she was in the room, and I just remember she says, you know what I think? And she says, when you want to fight, dark energies, how do you look? And I said, me? Well, I like the movie Kill Bill. So I said, my favorite thing when I work with energies is I wear my Kill Bill jacket. And I said, it's kind of nerdy, I guess. I said, but I like to like imagine that I'm just like kiddo, and I'm just like and I'm just like got my samurai sword, and I'm just like taking out, you know, the baddies. And then she was like, oh yeah, she's like, samurai sword. She goes, this is my acupuncture needle. And she like had this imaginary sword. She's like, huh, huh. She's doing this in the room while I'm laying on the table. She's like, hi, she's like it was so awesome. And I was like smiling, and she was laughing while she's doing it. She's like, huh. She's you see? She goes, I fight for light. She goes, I am light. I fight the darkness. I fight the darkness in people. I help to heal. She goes, I am light. And she says, do you think I care if somebody walks in and sees me with my samurai sword killing the darkness? And she's like, no, I don't care, because I am on a spiritual mission. And she says, my mission does not involve the people who do not understand what I do. And I was like, oh. And she says, so my daughters, sometimes they are embarrassed of me, uncomfortable. Sometimes I feel bad because they're my daughters, but that they are on their journey, I am on my journey. And she says, and their journey is perhaps not the same as mine. She goes, to think that my daughters should be on my same journey is my ego talking. And she's like, you know, everybody's on their own path. And she says, but you, she says, maybe you're my other daughter from another life. And she says, and even you and I are not on the same path, but at least we understand each other. And she says, and it's always good to have somebody who understands you on the way. And I was like, and so that was the moment when I started kind of coming out of my shell a little bit more. So Sherry Bug said, OMG, awesome. You have your knife to heal and fight darkness. I do. And it is over here. And I have started to take when I'm like really trying to do, that is my samurai sword. Is my Furpa. Oh wow, New Age Lunatic found it. You are so awesome. Hold on, plug in my phone real quick. There we go. Give it a little bit more juice. Wow, I can't find it. I believe you found the interview. But yeah, the interview is just kind of talking about how she got started, why she wanted to do acupuncture, that she used to be a nurse, you know, a doctor's assistant. And then she, you know, went into acupuncture, and then she kind of went on her spiritual journey and everything. But yeah, she's really cool. You know, sometimes I tell people like how cool she is, but when they talk to her, they're like, I don't know, she just seemed kind of weird. I'm like, well, she's you have to get to know Dr. Wang. Like she's always herself, you know, but she, like, you gotta speak her language. Like, you really do. And I'm not talking like a physical language, like, you know, I mean, she speaks Mandarin and English, but I don't know, she speaks in a very unique code, like, you know, and she'll just kind of like blurt out stuff, and I just kind of know what she's talking about. And so Brian always says that I speak Dr. Wang. He says, you and Dr. Wang are like on a totally different planet when you two get together. I goes, I have no freaking idea what you guys are talking about. And I said, yeah, we kind of go on other planets when we're talking, like, you know, and we I don't know. Yeah, she's, the way she describes things is just like totally like not of this world, you know. And yeah, she's a really cool lady, and I'm really glad that I have my Obi-Wan in my life. She is my Obi-Wan. Psycho-spiritual language, yes, it's and there was one time her and I were, because I sometimes like to go visit her at her house, and we'll just like sit around and read tarot cards, or I read tarot cards for her because she doesn't know how to read them, but she likes me to read them for her. And we just talk about stuff. We'll have tea, you know, she's got the little Japanese teacups. And we just have tea. We just drink tea the whole time, or every now and then she'll bust out some wine. And I was like, Dr. Wang, there was one time I was like, I thought you didn't drink. And she was like, oh, even spiritual people must drink once in a while. I was like, dude, you are so freaking cool. You know, because she's like, you know, the people, like, cause she follows like Amma, and so the Amma people are like, we don't do this, we don't do that, we don't drink alcohol, we have very pure bodies. And I told Dr. Wang, I said, I thought you were like that, you know, where like, you know, you don't, you know, engage in this, you don't drink, you don't eat meat, you know, you don't. And Dr. Wang's like, she says, you know, she says, she says, I have to sometimes, for people like that, she says, I don't impose my own beliefs onto them. So if they are comfortable not drinking alcohol, not eating meat, not doing this, and she goes, and it is helping them become more spiritual, I want them to become more spiritual, help heal the world. She goes, but she says, I will not then say in their face, oh, I like to have wine once in a while, or I like sometimes a little bit of chicken. And she's like, you know, she says, because that doesn't help anybody. She goes, but in my own home, in the quiet of my home, she says, if I want to have this and it makes me feel okay, then I will have this. And she says, like I said, she's you do what's good for you. Not always what everybody else does is the best. And she says, you do you. I was like, okay. So yeah, so I was like shocked. I was like, you drink alcohol? Like, what? And then one time for her birthday, I got her, they're called Lucky Buddha beer, and it's from Taiwan. It's, they look like, you know, the happy Buddha. It's not really Buddha. I forgot the name of that deity, but it's the, you know, the big guys like for abundance and prosperity. And anyway, so that's the shape of the bottles, and they're green bottles, and you can get them at Bevmo. And so I got her those, and she was like, oh, she's these are wonderful. She goes, I will have one and make it a vase. And she goes, but 6 beers probably will take me 6 months to drink, but that's okay. But she was so happy. And so I've seen my little Buddha bottles around her house, you know, her beer bottle, she puts like flowers and things in them, and yeah, she's pretty cool. Sherrybug said, I'm starting to lose my signal, so I'm gonna go healing to my sick pup. Milan, please, when you do, I will. We'll have to listen to the replay later for sure. Well, Sherrybug, you take care. Have a wonderful Saturday. So yeah, Dr. Wang is really cool. She helps me be more comfortable being me. But yeah, she's like, I do believe someday you will be even better at what you do, but you have to practice. Much more practice. Okay, which brings us to the end. I'm going to put this here. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's see. How many people do we have in here? Let's see, what could, I think that's okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think what I want to do, because I want to do my healing. Yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, so I'm gonna do my like ending healing. But for this one, if you don't want to receive it, it's not gonna hurt my feelings in any way. You know, some people like to do their thing. But what I'm going to do for this one a little bit differently, I'm going to kind of use Dr. Wang's advice a little bit. So if you don't mind, you know, and if you do mind, then by all means, like, close yourself off. But if you don't mind, you know, obviously, you know, put the names of the people, animals, places that you went to healing, so that energy, I always think that, you know, writing, saying things, it puts that energy out. So, you know, I noticed some people are putting up those names. That's cool. So put those names out. But for this healing, and remember, if you actually have something really, really terribly wrong, receive this healing, but also go to a doctor. Utilize your resources. I would like to look into you guys, if that's okay. So just maybe allow yourself to be open. I'm just going to see the areas of the few people that are in here. And that's just where I'm going to focus my energy. And I'm going to use the spiritual needle, like Dr. Wang said, and just see what it does for you guys. And then we'll do that. So, okay. Okay, so Christina is open. Anybody else? Because I kind of want to know who I'm thinking of. So Christina is here, so I'm gonna focus on her energy instead of just like general. I want to actually specifically focus on you guys. So I think I know New Age Lunatic is here. Christina's here. Who else? And then for everybody else, I'm gonna do like my general. But I want to like look at. Okay, so move this. I got my angelite, which has been calling me a lot, and I'm going to use my brand new garnet. So we got angelite and garnet, and I think I want to use my argonite. This is my blue argonite. Okay. Okay, so angelite, garnet, argonite. Okay, so you guys just go ahead, open yourselves up, and I'm just gonna tap in. All right. Ooh, it is warm. Okay, so yes, a little bit different. I was trying something different with the needle, but I kind of made it my own, and I was doing a little bit of something else. I was using music for you guys, so I was pumping out some music, and because I was trying to listen to the music that you guys have inside of you, like because I like music. So Christina, because you were the first person I was focusing on. Everybody else had some different music, but yours is the one I remember before I started like trying to tune everybody to the same station. I guess. But Christina, I was hearing, you know, all the leaves are brown. I think that's the Mamas and the Papas. Yeah. And then I just changed the station. Yeah. And I was playing, what's that? Something Sharp in the Magnetic Zeros. Home, that song. I love that song. It just seems so happy. So I was trying to tune everybody into that same song. So yeah, that's the song I was pumping out to you guys, and Milan, somebody's Sherry Bug's dog. Yeah, I was just imagining we were all in a circle, and we were just like all just dancing to this song, and the dogs were playing around, and all the animals, and I always get your guys's like spirit guides and relatives like filling the room, but they were all dancing too, so I was like making it as light as possible. So just a little bit different, you know. I'm trying stuff out. But I really liked, I like that one. I like tuning your guys' station. It was like a mixture of changing the station to a different song, and like working your energy the way I like to bake, like changing using the same ingredients but changing the proportions, if that makes sense. But anyway, I wish you guys a wonderful Saturday and Sunday, and I thank you guys so much for tuning into this very, very rambly live chat and listening to me just like blah, blah, blah out my mind. And then, yeah, checking out the awesome Witch's Bounty box, which I'm so grateful. And I will make another video for the Witch's Bounty, like a proper video. Yes, New Age Lunatic, much love to you as well. Yeah, and I hope everybody got a little bit of good juju from that, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. I am eternally grateful that I can sit in here on a Saturday, get on YouTube, that I have means to do so, and that I can connect with you beautiful souls. Every one of you is beautiful. You should see what you guys look like in spirit form. It really is like a rainbow. It's really awesome. So I will catch you spiritual homies later. All right, peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. Bye.